and welcome once again to the annual NFHS Soccer Rules Changes and Instruction video. This year we are sincerely appreciative to have Teresa Wins, NFHS Director of Sports and Officials, and the National Editor and Rules Interpreter for Soccer, and Ross Malone, NISOA Interscholastic Representative, with us. They will be going over the rules changes and points of emphasis. This past season, there were 456,362 boys and 390,482 girls participating in high school soccer. As officials, it is our responsibility to make sure each and every player has every opportunity to participate in a game in a safe and enjoyable environment. Every high school official must take his/her profession seriously and strive for perfection at each and every game. This includes being physically fit, knowing the rules and how to properly apply them, and having the people management skills to maintain control during highly stressful situations. Now here is Teresa, who will spend a few minutes telling you about the NFHS Rules Committee members and their responsibilities.
Thanks, John. Each year, the Rules Committee meets in January to discuss proposed rules changes. Prior to the meeting, a survey is sent out to coaches, administrators, and officials about the current rules. The survey asks what changes should be incorporated into the rules. The proposed changes are discussed in depth, and consensus is reached on what should be incorporated in the rules book. This year's Rules Committee consists of the following members. Section 1, Derek Van Langdon of New Jersey. Section 2, John Johnson from Ohio. Section 3, Alex Ozuna from Florida. Representing Section 4 is Andy Freshar from Michigan. From South Dakota, representing Section 5 is John Crowstrand. The Section 6 representative is Ernie Derrera from Colorado. Section 7, Jan Allen from Hawaii. Section 8 is represented by Kevin Skaggs of Wyoming. The coaches representative is Mark Berkowitz from Connecticut. The officials representative is John Young from Nevada. And the chairperson of the committee is Chad Collins from Kentucky. I would like to thank the committee for their hard work and efforts to make sure the NFHS rules book is up to date. They make sure the rules are current and interpretations are consistent with the game. This also allows for maximum participation of student athletes.
Now, Teresa will present the rules changes for the 2019-2020 season, and Ross will provide necessary information on interpretations and mechanics.
The first rule change is Rule 4.3 on improperly equipped player. If not immediately correctable, improperly equipped players shall be instructed to leave the field of play when the next ball ceases to be in play. The player may be replaced, or the team may choose to play short. The removed player, if not replaced, may re-enter at the next dead ball, only after reporting to an official, who shall be satisfied the player's equipment and uniform are in order. Play shall not be stopped for an infringement of this rule, except that the referee may stop play immediately where there is a dangerous situation.
This rule change applies to improper equipment, not illegal equipment. Improper equipment is legal equipment that has been worn incorrectly or becomes illegal during play. For example, a shin guard that moves to the side of the leg during the course of play is improper and must be fixed. Illegal equipment is when a player removes a shin guard and attempts to continue to play in the game. When a player is removed for improper equipment, the player must leave the game and the team may offer a substitute or elect to play short. The player may re-enter during the next stoppage of play. The referee must properly inspect the player to ensure the equipment is now legal. If the player is not on the bench side at the time of leaving the field, he or she may enter from the far side, provided the referee confirms that the equipment is now legal.
Play on!
Rule 531D, which deals with applying advantage, is modified to indicate that the official calls Play on, and with an underswing of one or both arms indicates a foul was observed but shall go unpenalized. Penalizing the offending team would give an advantage to the offending team.
This change allows the official to use one arm or two to signal advantage. The referee must still call out, "Play on." The referee can still penalize the original offense if the advantage is not realized. Advantage must be applied when appropriate. However, the referee should not lose control of the game by allowing too much advantage and the players begin to retaliate. Advantage, used properly, allows for great game flow. Conversely, if used improperly, there can be retaliations and problems with game control.
So I'm going to need you to stop the clock after goals, on penalty kicks, and anytime I issue a card. So anytime I do this, just stop the clock.
Okay, so I'll just look for you the whole game.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good.
The next change is Rule 743 and deals with the timing of the game. The clock shall be stopped when a substitute by the team in the lead is beckoned onto the field in the final 5 minutes of the second period or overtime. The purpose of the change is to eliminate coaches from wasting time by having multiple substitutes late in the match. It also makes the clock stoppage a requirement rather than the official using his or her judgment and possible inconsistencies from game to game. Article 3 was added to Rule 3.4 to reflect the clock shall be stopped when a substitute by the team in the lead is beckoned on the field in the final 5 minutes of the second period or overtime only.
Referees must remind the timer before each game of this requirement. Also, the timer must be instructed that the stoppage only occurs during the last 5 minutes of the second half or overtime. If there is a legal substitution opportunity, the substitute has reported to the bench and there are 5 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock, the horn will sound for the substitution, but the clock will not be stopped. The clock must be at 5 minutes or less for this rule to apply. During these situations, it'd be a good mechanic for the referee to signal to stop the clock as a reminder to the timekeeper.
The last change focuses on the sections of the rules that deal with the drop ball. The first change deals with the reasons for a drop ball. The game is restarted with a drop ball when the ball is caused to go out of bounds by two opponents simultaneously, when the ball becomes deflated, following a temporary suspension of play for an injury or unusual situation, and a goalkeeper is not in possession of the ball, and when simultaneous fouls of the same degree occur by opponents. 923 has been changed to indicate the ball is dropped by an official from waist level to the ground. Any number of players may contest a dropped ball, including the goalkeepers. A referee cannot decide who may contest a drop ball or its outcome. 9.2, new Article 5, has been added. The ball shall be dropped again if it touches a player before it touches the ground or leaves the field of play after it touches the ground without touching a player. 9.2, new Article 6 has been added to indicate if a drop ball enters the goal without touching at least two players, play is restarted with a goal kick if it enters the opponent's goal or a corner kick if it enters the team's own goal. Another update to the drop ball is 9.3, which clarifies the location of the drop ball during a temporary suspension, and the ball was in the goal area. The game shall be started by a drop ball at the point where the ball was when the play was suspended, except as noted in 14.17, provided the ball was not in the goal area and not in possession of the goalkeeper, 12.8.2.
There were several changes to the rules surrounding the drop ball. I'd like to discuss the rules of the drop ball and the mechanics for the referee involved in administering the drop ball restart. The first reason for a drop ball is when the ball is caused to go out of bounds by two opponents simultaneously. This is the rule. However, the spirit of the game must be considered. The referee should take a moment if he or she is not sure who caused the ball to go out of bounds. Normally, a player from the team that did not cause the ball to go out of bounds will retrieve the ball for the throw-in. The opponent who did cause the ball to go out will begin to walk away and set up his or her defensive position. The referee should then signal for the direction of the throw-in. A referee who cannot make a decision on the direction of a throw-in will lose credibility on any future actions. The next reason for a drop ball is when the ball becomes deflated during play. This is a rare occurrence, but the referee must know the restart. While the 2019-2020 rule book, page 14, Rule 2.2.4, says that the drop ball restart for a deflated ball will be between any two opposing players, this year's rule change reads that any number of players may participate. The third reason for a drop ball restart occurs when there is a temporary suspension of play for an injury or an unusual situation and the goalkeeper is not in possession of the ball. If the goalkeeper is in possession, restart is an indirect free kick. This is different than other organizations and cannot be confused. All officials must know the rules of the game they are assigned and apply them correctly. The last reason is when fouls of the same degree occur by opponents. Again, this is a very rare occurrence. Even if it's only a second or two, normally one foul will occur before the other and the referee should make a decision. The drop ball is taken from where the ball was when play was stopped. The ball must touch the ground before it is played, and a goal cannot be scored from the drop ball. At least two players must touch the ball prior to it entering the goal. If the ball enters the goal prior to this, the restart is either a goal kick or a corner kick, depending on which player touched the ball last. This year, the drop ball has been modified to allow any number of players to participate in the drop ball. Historically, it has been two opponents. Now, there's an opportunity for one team to show good sportsmanship and allow the opponent to be the only player participating so that the team can retain possession. It is important to note that the referee cannot require who participates. A good mechanic for a drop ball to ensure it touches the ground before a player attempts to play the ball is for the referee to hold the ball at waist level and place one hand on top of the ball and the other under the ball. The player's eyes will focus on the top hand. The referee then instructs the players that the ball must touch the ground before it is played. While providing these instructions, the referee moves the lower hand and the ball falls to the ground before players realize it. This ensures that the ball touched the ground before being played. Once the referee drops the ball, he or she should step back immediately to avoid being kicked by one of the players participating in the drop ball restart.
There are 3 points of emphasis for this season. The first POE deals with the anterior cruciate ligament, ACL injury prevention. Injuries to the anterior cruciate ligament, ACL, are devastating to athletes at all levels of competition. An ACL tear requires surgery and results in 6 to 12 months of rehabilitation before return to sports. It also increases the risk of future knee osteoarthritis. The majority of ACL tears are non-contact injuries, occurring while cutting, pivoting, or landing from a jump. The remainder of the injuries result from a direct blow to the knee or leg. ACL injuries are more common in girls' soccer than any other high school sport. In soccer, girls are 3 times more likely to tear their ACL than boys. Boys' soccer has the highest rate of ACL injuries of all non-collision boys' sports. Given the significant short-term and long-term consequences of ACL injuries, a great deal of research has focused on strategies for injury prevention. Protective bracing does not minimize the risk of injury. In fact, we have no studies showing that contact ACL injuries can be prevented. However, we do know that non-contact injuries, the ones that result from cutting, pivoting, or jumping, can be minimized through the use of specific neuromuscular training programs. The goal of such training programs is to teach athletes proper body mechanics in jumping, landing, and running. Through a series of warm-up drills, athletes can improve physical skills and decrease the risk of non-contact ACL injury. The NFHS is now offering a free online course on ACL injury prevention on NFHS Learn. The NFHS Sports Medicine Advisory Committee, SMAC, strongly supports the implementation of this course in high school and middle school soccer programs in an effort to decrease the risk of serious knee injuries. The course should be viewed by all coaches. It is a free course. The coaches then should look at the workout schedule and consult with the school's strength trainer to determine the steps to strengthen not only the knee area, but other vulnerable fitness areas. The NFHS Sports Medicine Advisory Committee, SMAC, strongly supports the implementation of this course in high school and middle school soccer programs in an effort to decrease the risk of serious knee injuries. The course should be viewed by all coaches. It is a free course. The coaches then should look at the workout schedule and consult with the school's strength trainer to determine steps to strengthen not only the knee area, but other vulnerable fitness areas.
The second point of emphasis requires an authorized representative of the host school to greet the officials upon their arrival to the field. The host school principal, principal's designee, or game administrator must indicate to the head official or the center referee his or her seat location should a situation where his or her assistance is needed during a contest. The contest's coaches should not serve as the principal's designee or game administrator. The expectation is that the principal's designee or game administrator will take positive action to maintain an atmosphere of good sportsmanship within the spectator seating area. In the event there is a problem with the spectator, this individual will be available to deal with the issue. The referee should notify the representative about the spectator and request that the administrator take a positive action. Officials should not get involved in altercations with spectators. Remember, sportsmanship is paramount at all games.
The final point of emphasis speaks to the communication by officials to coaches during misconducts. Rule 5-3 states that the game official shall communicate the nature of misconduct to coaches, the scorer, and other officials when a yellow/red card has been issued. This communication is a notification and not an explanation. It is not intended to be an opportunity for the coach to discuss or dissent the call. It is, however, an educational opportunity for a coach to address and/or correct the behavior of the carded individual. It is important to note that interscholastic athletics are an extension of the classroom, and the behavior of all involved should reflect as such. Coaches and officials are expected to model good sportsmanship and to uphold the honor and dignity of their profession. This includes all interaction with student athletes, other coaches and officials, school administration, and spectators. Soccer officials should remain professional during these stressful times. The officials should state the reason for the misconduct clearly and concisely and resume the game as quickly as possible. Debating with the coach will only escalate the problem and create more problems for the official. Now Ross will spend a few minutes on players' uniform requirements.
Rule 4 of the NFHS Rules Book deals with the uniform and player equipment. While the entire rule is important, one of the most critical aspects is Section 2, Article 1. Illegal equipment shall not be worn by any player. This applies to any equipment that, in the opinion of the referee, is dangerous or confusing. It is recommended every referee read Section 2 of Rule 4. No player should ever enter the field with any equipment that, in the opinion of the referee, is dangerous, no matter what the coach, school administrator, or anyone else says. The referee can place himself or herself in a very vulnerable situation if this is allowed. The rules book has numerous examples of what is or is not allowed. Every official should know what is on this list and not allow anyone to play in a match wearing illegal equipment. A coach, school administrator, or other person may try to convince the referee that the players should be allowed to play. The referee cannot waver and must remain firm for the safety of all players.
Coaches are going to be properly dressed and legally equipped.
Prior to each game, the referee must ask both coaches if their teams are properly equipped. It is the coach's responsibility to ensure that the team is properly equipped. If the player enters the field of play with illegal equipment during the first stoppage of play, the clock is stopped, the player is removed from the game, and the coach is cautioned for the first offense of this nature. Play can be stopped immediately if the referee feels that the illegal equipment is dangerous. All subsequent issues of illegal equipment will be dealt with in the same manner, except that the player will be cautioned, not the coach. Remember, the caution is for illegal equipment only, not improper equipment. Required player equipment includes jersey, shorts, socks, both of the same color, shin guards, and suitable shoes. Numbers on the jersey, including the goalkeeper, are part of the uniform. Details about the size of the numbers and other items that are permitted on the jersey and shorts are provided in the rules book and on the NFHS website. The home team is to wear dark jerseys and the visiting team white. The goalkeeper's jerseys shall be distinctly different in color from teammates or opposing players. Also, state associations may have specific requirements for players to wear certain types of protective items. These procedures must also be followed. Prior to the start of the game, jerseys are to be tucked in unless they're manufactured to be worn outside of the shorts. If the referee observes a player pulling his or her jersey out, the referee should advise the player to tuck it back in. If the player persists in this manner, he or she could be removed at the next stoppage for improper equipment. The referee must not allow the player to continue. Rule 4 should be reviewed on a regular basis so that no player has illegal or improper equipment during the game.
This concludes the 2019-2020 NFHS rules changes and points of emphasis. We hope you have a great season officiating.